Flemington on the 20th was a wipeout for me. This is part 2 of the weekly waffle, by the way. Now, life lesson here. If you do work based on a track looking a certain way and it doesn't come up a certain way, and in this case with Flemington on Saturday morning, trainer, Flemington track curator Mick Goody said it was a dead 4. So I went beauty, and then I posted on my selections and my markets, and then ultimately it raced as a heavy 8 or 9. Now, when you see that, pull the pin. That's what I'll be doing from now on. So I tried to stick it out, and particularly so if race 1 comes up much worse than you saw, and that was the case on Saturday. So I had a horrendous day, and sorry about that if you followed my walkers that I ended up being on, but they just didn't handle the wet track, and the track basically should have been posted as a heavy 8 from race 1 once it was evident what happened. And in race 1, Agoulas and Walk With Attitude, neither of them handled the wet, and the market said they weren't going to. So what we can take out of that, though, and out of the whole meeting, the first 4 across the line were all really deep in their preparation. So when all of a sudden you get a real testing heavy track, and I know this is the bleeding obvious, but fitness is just so important. You could have picked the first 4 across the line, 45,000 the first 4 paid, and they were the 4 fittest horses with the most amount of races. So it didn't necessarily come down to talent, come down to being in the right spot. The winner there, I couldn't have after the race, and that is It's Poets Day. I actually went back, looked at all the races again, and still couldn't have it. So if you like backing those horses, good on you. I'm just pretending that race didn't exist. Mind you, I'm probably pretending that the meeting didn't actually exist. With the exception of race 2. Now this was a good race. I was on Worth the Ransom. It was truck loaded, went to the front and compounded at probably a too quick a speed. But again, against the rails, which it wasn't the place to be, and probably didn't handle the heavy tracks. But take notice of what the SP told you in a starting price, what the market told you. This is a talented horse. Now this won at Echuca, as did the winner of Paddy Payne's in late charge. It conversely handled the wet beautifully and progressed from Echuca. So I think they're the 2 horses to follow. The winner, which is obvious, but the horse that was truck-loaded in Worth the Ransom, even though it was beaten a long way. Race 3 was a race we did get right. Super ride there by Linda Meach. That's probably as good a ride as she'll ever produce in Grand Slam Eagle, beating Tully Buck Kid, Dean Yendall, who just basically sat on. I'm Jordan White, so I'll just sort of stay there and see what happens. So there was nothing between those 2, and the best ride won it. Swap runs, swap results. The rest of them, Edgewood, Space, those type of horses, they're the type, at the end of their 3-year-old days, they're about to reach open company. Don't know where the progression's going to be. In the case of Edgewood, it could be start the prep again and start learning how to jump away, because he's his own worst enemy. But why would you bother backing those type of horses? Because they don't do you much favours in the long run. In the race 4 on the program here, again, this was in a driving finish. I was on Bomb Squad. The kid rode it well, didn't do anything wrong, but when there's 100 out and it's Bomb Squad v Dwayne Dunn on foul scent, the strong senior jockey was always going to win that bob of the head. But Bomb Squad's got a lot of talent. Foul scent went well. There might be a few winners out of this too. Stick On ran well enough. It was his first defeat, but not too bad at all, and it was a fairly high pressure race. Race 5 on the program here, Clanger's Glory goes from a horse I didn't really like on the dead 4. It wasn't a dead 4, it was a heavy 8. Comes down to conditioning, as I said earlier. So Clanger's Glory, rock hard fit, well ridden by Michelle Payne, got the money there, but I'd just be a bit careful of it. That could be it for it, unless it strikes another big wet track. Chassé was just super. Had it drawn a little bit wider, could have gone very close, and Under the Hat started racing too close. Learn a bad habit in the Winter Championship final, so I don't know what they'll do there. The money was truckloaded on road tripping, legs went from under it, didn't handle the wet, but equally, huge run first up. Nowhere to go when they do that first up, so maybe that's the dip, and it can go forward again, road tripping, and take notice of the way the market actually crunched it. Now, race 6 again comes down to the testing conditions. I was on the Cleaner and Oregon Spirit. At the 400, you think beauty, they're going to Cornella this race. The 300 still. Well, 200 they're in front, but paddling. So it came down to the testing conditions, and both those horses knocked up. The Cleaner went very quickly, but that's his style. And an Oregon Spirit, tough wide run. They were both super, and they both missed the place. So they're the best 2 horses. I don't care that Streets at Seattle won. Fabriano was the one who had no luck, but you're going to keep racing out of your class with no weight. he's good at losing. He's had 18 starts this prep and he hasn't won. So good luck to you. I know he's unlucky. I know he should have won. He didn't win. Race 7, RG McLaren was smashed at the start and that put him out of the race. And then again, come down to Fitness. Weekend Special, who had been towed up by RG McLaren in Adelaide. But it was deep into a prep. Did the right thing. Henwood's was super. It's probably the horse to follow out of the meeting. Out the back, over 1,000 as you'd expect, but travel well, hit the line well. So Henwood's the one to follow out of that. And the last race in the program, I like Be a Diamond, again over the dead 4. And now, talk about the difference between reality and what you get told. Be a Diamond's official SP was $4.20 to $4. As much as $6.50 was found on the fair just before they started. So that told you it was drifting and they didn't really like it. So then from there, it becomes a bit of a raffle. Danish Whiskey, super ride by James Winks, in the right lane, and Mick Kent, the trainer, is a fastidious track walker. So there you go, 7s out to 11s. But you talk about SP profile. Previous start was firm, right in the market. If it wasn't favourite, it was second favourite. A little bit disappointing, but that's where you look at what the market's telling you about how well a horse is going. So anyway, that's enough excuses from me. Hopefully we get it right at Caulfield this week. You can get it via Racetrack Ralphy app or racetrackralphy.com.au.